Hey everyone, it's Renee from Sweet Pea Labs here showing you the Scientific Method digital notebook. So this digital notebook is built in Google Slides and it's easy then to put out to students in Google Classroom. You can either create a copy for students so that each student has their individual copy, or if they're working in groups, you can ship it out that way through Google Classroom as well. So I'm going to show you the teacher version and I'm going to put it in present mode here so you can get a good idea of what the slides look like. The teacher version just has a few extra slides that the student version doesn't have. I also include a master copy in there and PDFs. So if you want to print out any of those pages, you can do that as well. So notice here that I have this sort of rainbow color scheme, and that becomes important because each step of the scientific method is one of these colors. Terms of use. So tips and tricks I've included for teachers, including an idea about differentiation for students that might have struggle with typing or struggle with putting their thoughts down on paper. You can actually, in Google Slides, do voice to speaker notes. So you can turn that on, record their voice, and they can copy and paste that into the slides. So that makes it nice and easy for students that struggle with those certain things. There are a few other tips and tricks there that you can read. I've included a graphic here with the scientific method. I wanted the graphic to look sort of cyclic so that the scientific method can go back into the hypothesis if you need to revisit or revise it or refine your hypothesis after you've collected your data and drawn conclusions. So I wanted to make that sort of obvious here. And I've included this graphic as well, which is step by step, also color coordinated with each step. So the observe and wonder step is all going to be read no matter where you look in the notebook, so it's not confusing. I've included tips, tools, and shortcuts for students so that they have an idea of just quick shortcuts on either the keyboard or in Google Slides if they're not super familiar with how to use Google Slides. The shortcuts were written for the Chromebook, so depending on what operating system you're using, it may differ slightly. So keep that in mind. Each slide is pretty basic. It's a template for students to use to record their information and their data. So like I said, each slide is going to be color coordinated with its particular step in the scientific method. We'll have some information here sort of describing what to do in the text box here. And I've included a type here and type here so that students know if they click there, that's where they're going to be typing. So when you look through each one, again, it goes through each step of the scientific method, each one color coordinated, and each one, easy for the students to type in. If we scroll or go out here to the actual slide deck, this is what students will see too. Like I said, this one is the teacher version at the moment, so it has a few extra slides that the students won't have, like the terms of use and the tips and tricks. But students here can easily click on a slide and then they can interact with the notebook. So they just type where it says type here. So they would type their notes here under observations. I do want to show you quickly the experiment and test. I've included a couple labels here on the side that students can easily move over into their slide. So if they want to label their independent variable or their dependent variable and the control, they can easily do that and they don't have to create the shapes and the boxes themselves. So this is easy for students to turn in Google Classroom, easy for teachers to assess as they're moving along. If you use Google Classroom and Google Slides together, you sort of know what that's all about. If not, I would highly recommend that you try it out because it's amazing. So you can use this product all year long. Every time the students will be used to the template anytime you're doing any sort of scientific experiment or data collection. Keep your eyes out for similar templates coming up with computational thinking breakdown and also the engineering design process. So hope you enjoy. Check it out. See ya.